This picture is showing a situation in which a person is randomly selecting two people from a population of 4 people, recording the ages of the 2 people, and then calculating the mean or average age of the 2 selected people. The person is going to calculate the mean or average age of the 2 people by adding their 2 ages and dividing the total by 2. In this situation, the number that the sample mean or sample average comes out to depends on which 2 people are selected. If person 1 and person 2 are selected, the sample will be a 20-year-old and a 30-year-old, and they'll have an average of 25. The sample mean will be 25. We can see that possibility right here. If person 1 and person 3 are selected, the sample will be a 20-year-old and a 40-year-old, and their mean or average will be 30. We can see that possibility right here. 20 plus 40 is 60. 60 divided by 2 is 30. If person 2 and person 3 are selected, the sample will be a 30-year-old and a 40-year-old, and their average will be 35. We can see that right here. If person 1 and person 4 are selected, the sample will be a 20-year-old and a 50-year-old, and they'll have an average of 35 right here. This diagram, called the sampling distribution, is just showing the 6 possible outcomes of this situation. The person might get person 1 and person 2 with an average of 25. The person might get 1 and 3 with an average of 30. The person might get 1 and 4 with an average of 35. The person might get 2 and 3 with an average of 35. The person might get 2 and 4 with an average of 40. Or the person might get person 3 and person 4 with an average of 45. There's 6 possible outcomes in this situation. So let's look at the questions that are asking about this diagram. The first question says, what are the 6 sample means in the sampling distribution? This sampling distribution that shows the possible outcomes is really just showing 6 numbers. It's showing the mean of each box. So if we look at the boxes, we can see that the means are 25, 30, 35, 35, 40, and 45. This question is just asking you to list out those 6 numbers. So just list out the 6 numbers that are represented by the boxes and separate them by commas. 25, 30, 35, 35, 40, 45. That's question 1. Question 2 says, what is the probability that the person will get a sample with a mean of 25? This is asking, what's the probability that that after the person selects the 2 people, the average will be 25? Well, it depends on how many of the 6 possible samples have a sample mean of 25. If one out of the 6 boxes has a mean of 25, then the probability is 1 over 6, or 1/6. If 2 of the 6 boxes have a mean of 25, then the probability would be 2 over 6. So to get the answer, you just have to find the number of boxes out of 6 that have the sample mean of 25. Same thing, you do the same thing for questions 3 and 4. If 1 out of 6 boxes have a mean of 35, the answer is 1 over 6. If 2 out of 6 boxes have a mean of 35, the answer is 2 over 6. And if 3 out of 6 boxes had a mean of 35, the answer would be 3 over 6. Question 5 is asking, what's the lowest number that the sample mean could turn out to be? Well, that's just asking you to find the number that goes with the lowest box. If the lowest box has a mean of 25, then the sample mean can't be any lower than 25. What's the highest number that the sample mean might turn out to be? Well, if the highest box has a mean of 45, then the sample mean can't be any higher than 45. There's no way to get an average higher than 45. So it's those 2 questions are asking you to find the lowest box and highest box. question number 7 is asking for you to explain why why in this situation the sample mean is more likely to come out to 35 and less likely to come out to 25. Well, it's basically just asking you, why is there a higher probability that this sample mean will turn out to be 35 and a lower probability of it turning out to be 25? Um, there's more ways, in this situation, there's more ways to get a sample mean of 35 because there's 2 possible ways to get 35. If you get person 1 and 4, you get 35. If you get 2 and 3, you get 35. There's 2 possible ways for it to happen. However, there's only one possible way to get the sample mean of 25. To get the sample mean of 25, you have to get person 1 and person 2. So overall, there's more ways for this to happen and less ways for this to happen.